Hi, it's Laurel Dietz, the owner of Alinea Legal Coaching, and we're back with another divorce chat. Today I have Bettina Plendel with me here. Bettina is a financial planner, but she specifically deals with people going through separation divorce. And so she's created a special title for herself, which I think is a great one to kind of describe what it is that you do. She is a financial divorce strategist. Is that right, Bettina?
Yeah, that's exactly. I think it's pretty cool too. It's not existing, so you won't find it in a dictionary, but it's a combination from making good plans with some strategy going through a divorce.
Yes. So you're kind of forward looking. You look at what they've got, and you're forward looking for your clients. And if people wanted to reach out to you, we'll do it. We'll give them the information at the end as well. But what is your business name, and how can they reach you?
Okay, my website is financialdivorcestrategist.com. And there you would have a button. You can book a free 20-minute consult with me, or if you already have a lot of things and just want to have a longer conversation, you can book a 90-minute call at a reduced price. And from there, we just see where we end up. I work on mainly virtual, online via Zoom. As many in our field, as I think there's a lot of people in other communities in British Columbia that might not have access or want to keep it very private. And for that reason, I think online is a great option. But I do meet in person as well. I'm flexible between the island and Vancouver. Absolutely.
Okay. So you can serve clients throughout BC because you're all internet based. And then also if anyone on the island or Vancouver wants to meet with you, then they can book in person if they prefer. I find that most people find the internet or Zoom or whatever conferencing platform or the phone is that you use is probably the most convenient for most people. I found that even people out in Langford, so I'm in Victoria, they've chosen, instead of driving into the city, they said they'd rather meet by Zoom so they don't have to drive downtown.
Oh yeah, nowadays everything happens so quick and fast. It's why not? And I mean that's a good thing out of COVID that everybody knows Zoom. It's everybody's comfortable on it and discovers its advantages, time saving and money saving. Sure.
Okay, so that's not why we're here. What I wanted to ask you, I have a few questions I prepared for you, Bettina, about your business and how you can help people going through a separation and divorce. So my first question is, if what is the primary reason most of your clients come and consult with you?
Yeah, most of the clients, they are separated since a few days or sometimes even a few years, but they all have in common that they don't really know where to start. They know they want to get it done. Having some sorts is something in writing or filing for divorce, but have no clue where to start, what to do. And most often they are the ones who have a gap in the financial knowledge because the partner looked more or less after the financial stuff, which is pretty normal in a traditional relationship, that you do things you like best and most, and the other one picks up other things. And so
Yeah.
financials is no exceptions to that. So we have basically two people who don't have an eyesight on what is going on with the family's finances.
Yeah. So people will contact you. I mean, so typically, like, we're in kind of corresponding industries, right? So I'm doing separations, divorces. That's what people contact me for. And they're obviously reaching out. You would say people, I guess people reach out to you before contacting lawyers, it sounds like, if they don't even know, if they're saying, well, I'm not sure what to do and I don't really understand the finances, so I need to educate myself a bit, and I thought you could help me.
Yes, right. Everybody realizes the money is the gas in our tank and it takes us somewhere, this vehicle. And that's why financials are always involved in a separation. Some people, for some reason, they start there and they get legal advice later on the process.
Yeah.
Some people prefer mediation, but still would like to have a professional drafted agreement, like the type of service you offer, right? And those are actually, I think, really smart. They focus on what they want to know and need for the process, and then they get more professionals involved.
It's interesting what you said there is, like, I think that the major pain point for most people going through a separation divorce is this fear and panic about their money and what's life going to look like? How do you separate it out? What will life look like after a separation divorce? So when you come to a lawyer, you get the legal advice about these are the principles that are at play, and this is what you might be entitled to, but we don't crunch the numbers for you. So some people, instead of coming to the lawyer first, will go to you first, and you'll say, let's crunch these numbers. And then you can go see about that legal advice, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So,
and the most pressing point for most is that commingled joint account. So now they see they don't like each other, but they still use the same credit card. So you might see charges you don't like, and you feel you're paying everything, the other person pays nothing. And so that is basically cash flow is a huge problem. And that feeling, I need to detwine that. And that's often where we actually start. It's not the big picture. It is really the little right now
where you start, yeah. And that's I start at the other end. I start big picture, work to little picture if we ever get to the little picture sometimes. So I think that's like you're providing an education about finances and how to manage various pain points, and I'm doing a different, like, kind of a principles based thing, and let's focus on big picture stuff. I think both are really important. So what is the difference between what you do and what an accountant does?
Yeah, a chartered professional accountant is in the financial world is a niche, right? So as a certified financial planner, I'm trained in all areas of finances, insurance, debt, investments, corporations, whatever, maybe partnerships. I know how those pieces play together and how they can connect it or are not connected. And so I'm a generalist, and I have the big picture in front of me, and I know when I do something over there, that might happen. An accountant potentially only focuses on the taxation. But the advantage of going through this process, there's no penalty from CRA, because a lot of things can be rolled over from spouse to ex-spouse due to the nature of the proceedings. So we do need accountants for sure, but we might as well need a pension evaluator or a business evaluator. And those are really the niches in the financial world.
Well, it's interesting. I think an accountant wouldn't even give the advice that you're giving. So you're strategizing. As you say, you're the generalist. So you connect all the pieces together, and you can say, okay, in this area, we do need an accountant to give you advice, or we need a pension evaluator or whatever. And you can make forecasts and projections, where I don't think accountants will typically do that type of work.
Yeah, normally not. Sometimes there's good tax planning going on, but often it's, families get credits for, let's say, disabled children, or there's other things moving. Again, so many moving pieces, and the accountant is just focused on that one. And I find sometimes accountants don't know enough about their family to give the full advice if you don't tell them, but you don't know what they don't know. So it's sometimes really communicating the situation, and absolutely not looking in the past, looking into the future. What can we do with what we have in front of us?
Exactly. Okay. So what would you, if you're speaking to your client base right now, which you are, what would you like people to know about how you help them through a separation or a divorce? What do you think is like an important part of the service that you offer?
Yeah, I think what I just said is they have this. I always compared with a table full of stuff, and it's all sitting on a tablecloth. So they have the kids, they might need a new housing, they have their friends and family talking. There's so much stuff going on, and it's easy to get overwhelmed and lose the oversight and making good decisions about your personal situation, and maybe you don't have all the information. So I will make sure I break it down. I explain things to you from a financial point of view. You understand them. And then, when we pull the tablecloth, which is the divorce or separation, things will shake and move, and what it actually entails, what the outcome is going to be for your own individual life moving forward, from a financial point of view, right?
Yeah.
after, of course, the lawyers were involved, as sometimes we need to get legal advice, of course, on
Always, always.
always, right? But sometimes it's how should I say, of course, whether the house can be sold or not, or should be sold or not, is often a financial decision too.
Yes.
So, and if things don't move, then definitely we
Yes,
need.
no, this is true, obviously. So that there's certain things that like there's practicality in financial division and separation and budgeting and planning for the future that that's not really a part of the there's a little bit
Yeah,
of analysis as far as the legal stuff, but
yeah.
realistically, we don't make the decision. We let our clients make the decision, or figure out their own finances to decide, can I maintain this house or do I have to sell it, right?
Yeah, and sometimes it's, merging the legal options with the financial options, and sometimes finding that sweet spot that hopefully works for the entire family. That's my
Yeah.
goal.
Okay, so for people who are going through separation and divorce right now, what is their biggest challenge? What would you say what is the biggest challenge facing most people right now?
Yeah, most again, the first challenge would be cash flow. Many are really in a pickle. They don't have enough funds liquid to deal with everything. And then the commingling situation, where again there's a joint account. They don't know how to navigate. Do I get on your account? What can I do? What is, what makes sense? And then
Is cash flow something that's like sort of unique to this time right now? Like people are just, because they're spending money on, rising cost of living, they just don't have it? Or is it something that is just sort of like an evergreen issue?
I think it's evergreen, because when
Yeah.
you're in stress, you just go to take out, to this, to that. You grab a Starbucks, you treat yourself to things, and you actually don't have the money. Then professionals ask for retainers, and the money just goes out the door very quickly. You might find yourself end up paying the full mortgage as the other person just stops paying it. There's all kinds of potential financial issues, and the goal is really having that open conversation to navigate it first, and then from there into the bigger picture, and figuring out retirement. Most couples we see, I would say, start at age mid-30s to mid-40s, and then so the older family the spouses are, the more the retirement is a concern. So we really need to make sure everybody's set up for success, understands what the outcome's gonna be, and realizing that there will be now, instead of a family with two incomes, a family of one income and another income, and potentially support, right? Going back and forth.
Yeah, that's what I often will say to clients, is like their expectations of their standard of living, it may be a bit inflated after separation. And I sort of explaining to them, the amount of income that you had supporting the one household is the same amount of income you now have supporting two different households. So
yeah,
I mean, your expenses go up and your income is really going down. So it is a bit of a financial crunch. And I guess just to give some perspective, in the long term, most people will land on their feet and stabilize and adjust. It can be a little bit painful at first.
yeah. And it's this gray zone of not knowing the proceedings. Everybody wants to get it done as quick as possible, but things need to be done properly, and sometimes you just don't feel like it, so you drag it out a little bit. So it's basically making it through this process and sorting things out, and not losing sight of the future, what lays ahead of you, right? I'm a positive supporter, and I want to make this work for you and understand what there is, and managing expectations clearly.
Yeah.
That's a big task, managing and calming things down, breaking it into little tasks so it doesn't seem so much to deal with.
Yes, exactly. That's an important service, I think. Okay, so in that vein, when is the best time for people to consult with you?
Anytime, actually. I mean, it is, some already work with a lawyer. Some lawyers say, you know what, there's such a big gap, you don't know money at all. Go and see Bettina or someone else who does something like that. To similar services, and understand what actually money is and how it works.
Yeah.
I think that's the key rather, and the benefit of working with me is it is like a mini financial coaching.
Yes.
So you know exactly what you have, what applies on you, and what your options are. So my goal is to get you independent at the end of this
Yeah.
process. And
That gives the client a bit of perspective, right? Because I think that money is such an emotional topic for people, and everybody carries baggage from, you know, whatever they've learned about money growing up, and so we might default to being a certain way. I think you often call them the spenders and the savers.
yes,
And it can be a real challenge.
Especially if they're married and never talked about it, and now the one wants to stuff everything under the pillow and the other one just spends it.
Yes.
That can really disrupt a lot, and
Yeah.
we sometimes deal with the outcome. Yeah, so again, anytime I can as well help after separation agreement is done as a neutral person.
Mhm.
I don't have an investment license. I think it would present a huge conflict of interest being neutral, available to two parties, but then if they wish so, but then managing money in the end, I don't think it's quite correct, and I can't
So
align
typically
that.
you help people only before, like in the process of putting together a separation agreement or pursuing court orders or something like that. You don't typically continue to work with them after they've divided everything up. But
No,
if they wanted,
yeah.
would you be able to help? You would be able to help them plan financially, like putting together a budget and doing a budget forecast and guiding them on, you know, how to use their money.
Yes, absolutely. And some want to start to do their own investing, right? So they go on internet platforms, and I think the key is always in money, live within your means and prepare for the future. Use the tools which are available, know them, and make them work for you. That's all. But money won't double just because you are getting divorced or are divorced. It's still the same thing, and we need sometimes replace a big loss now through the divorce and have a strategy for that, and that's absolutely something I can do. But I won't manage any funds, because I think there's great people out there who do an amazing job. Some people do it on their own, some have a professional, and I wear the generalist hat, but I'm not a specialist for investments.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Bettina. It's been lovely chatting with you. So just one more time, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach you?
It's the best is to go to my website, financialdivorcestrategist.com, and book a 20-minute meeting with me, either by phone or Zoom. So we have a little meet and greet. I can fill you in on, how I can assist you, and we can take it from there.
Great. Okay. So I'll put a link to that in our description if you want to find Bettina. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like our video or hit subscribe or hit the notification button if you're interested in having any more of information about these videos. All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Laurel. Bye-bye.
Bye.